Good morning to all of you. My name is Ashutosh Singh. Today, in strength of material, in this lecture, we will discuss about the stress analysis of thin cylinder. So, there is a huge difference in between thin cylinder and the sphere. So, the basic diagram of a thin cylinder is shown in the figure 7.1. The vessel such as a boiler, compressed air receiver, etc., are of cylindrical and spherical forms. These vessels are generally used for storing fluids such as liquids and gaseous under pressure. So the wall of such vessels are this as compared to their diameters. If the thickness of the wall of the cylinder vessel is less than 1 by 15 or 1 by 20 of its internal diameter, the vessel is known as a thin cylinder. So this is a condition. In this condition, 1 by 20 of its diameter is known as a cylindrical vessel. In case of thin cylinder, the stress distribution is assumed uniform over the thickness of the wall. So this is a cylinder this is a front view and this is a side view. In this cylinder, fluid is contains and it acts as a pressure of P at its wall. So 17.1 shows a thin cylindrical vessel in which a fluid under pressure is stored. So let's D is equal to internal diameter of the thin cylinder, and T is equal to thickness of the wall of the cylinder, P is equal to internal pressure of the cylinder, and the length L, that is L, is equal to the length of the cylinder. This is a pressure force which is acting perpendicular in the y direction. This is a pressure force. This is a pressure force shown in figure 17.2a. So stress in a thin cylinder vessel subjected to internal pressure. When a thin cylindrical vessel is subjected to internal pressure, the stress in the wall of the cylinder of the cross section along the axis and on the cross section perpendicular to the axis are set up. These stresses are known as tensile stress, and it is two types. The first one is circumferential stress, or it is also known as the hoop stresses, and the second one is longitudinal stress. The name of the stress is given according to the direction in which the stress is acting. The stress acting along the circumferences of the cylinder is called the circumferential stress, whereas the stress acting along the length of the cylinder is known as longitudinal stress. So the circumferential stress is also known as a hoop stress, and the stress set up in 17.2a is a circumferential stresses, whereas the stress set up in 17.2 is known as longitudinal stress. So the bursting will take place if the force due to pressure is more than the resisting force due to the circumferential stresses set up in the material. In the limiting case, there are two forces should be equal. The first one is force due to a fluid pressure, or it is equal to force multiplied by area of which P is acting. So it is equal to P multiplied by D multiplied by L, where D is equal to diameter and L is equal to length of the cylinder. So P is acting on the projected area, D multiplied by L. Force force due to circumferential stresses, that is sigma 1 multiplied by area on which sigma 1 is acting, sigma L is acting, sigma L multiplied by L into T plus L into T. So sigma 1 multiplied by 2LT. 2LT is a projected area on which the circumferential stress are acting. So equating equation 1 and 2, P multiplied by D into L is equal to 2 sigma L multiplied by L into T. So that gives the final result. Sigma L is equal to 2D PD by 2T. So this is a formula by which we can calculate the circumferential stresses. The next is expression of longitudinal stress. Consider a cylinder vessel which is subjected to a fluid pressure. The longitudinal stress considered set up in the material of the cylinder. If the bursting of the cylinder take place along the section AB, so let's assume P is equal to internal pressure and D is equal to internal diameter of the cylinder, T is equal to thickness of the cylinder, and sigma 2 is equal to longitudinal stress in the material. Then the bursting will take place if the force due to pressure fluid pressure acting on the end of the cylinder is more than the resisting force due to longitudinal stress developed in the material. So in the limiting case, both force should be equal. That's why the force due to pressure is equal to force, that is P multiplied by area on which P is acting. So the resisting force, that is sigma 2 multiplied by area on which sigma 2 is acting, that is sigma 2 multiplied by pi into d is the collected area multiplied by thickness. Hence in limiting case, the force due to pressure is equal to resisting force P multiplied by pi by 4 d square is equal to sigma 2 pi d into t. So sigma 2 is equal to Pd by 2t. So this is a longitudinal stress, and circumferential stress is equal to Pd by 2t. So equation 2.17.2 can be written as sigma 2 is equal to Pd by 2 multiplied by 2t, or sigma 1 divided by 2, because sigma 1 is equal to Pd by 2t. Hence the longitudinal stress is equal to half of the circumferential stress. This also means that circumferential stress is 2 times of longitudinal stress. Hence in the material of the cylinder, the permissible stress should be less than the circumferential stress, or in other words, the circumferential stress should not be greater than the permissible stress. So the next is maximum shear stress. At any point in the material of the cylinder cell, there are two principal stresses known as circumferential stress of magnitude sigma 1 is equal to Pd by 2t acting circumferentially, and longitudinal stress of the magnitude, that is sigma 2 is equal to Pd by 4t acting parallel to the axis of the cylinder या cell. These two stresses are tensile and perpendicular to each other. That's why sigma max is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2, or it is equal to Pd by 8t. So if the thickness of the cylinder is to be determined, then equation number 17.1 should be used. If the maximum permissible stress in the material is given, this stress should be taken circumferential stress, that is sigma 1. And while using equation 17.1, the unit of P, sigma 1 and sigma 2 should be same. They should be expressed either in Newton per millimeter square or Newton per meter square. Also the unit of D and T should be same. In this lecture we have covered the stress, that is hoop stress and circumferential stress in case of a thin cylinder. Next lecture we will discuss about the problem which is related to a thin cylinder. So thank you.